Today, I have stood where once Jefferson Davis stood and took an oath to my people. It is very appropriate that from this cradle of the Confederacy, this very heart of the great Anglo-Saxon Southland, that today we sound the drum for freedom, as have our generation of forebears before us done time and again down through history. Let us rise to the call of freedom-loving blood that is in us and send our answer to the tyranny that clanks its chains upon the South. In the name of the greatest people that have ever trod this earth, I draw the line in the dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny, and I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
In the winter of 1962, Vivian Malone, Sandy English, and James Hood were three prospective students of color that were denied admittance to the University of Alabama for the spring semester of 1963. After being denied by the university, Vivian and James proceeded to take the matter to the federal courts before a Judge Hobart H. Grooms. Grooms ended up ruling in favor of Hood and Malone, thus making Governor Wallace's expected stand on June 11th against federal law and officially making Vivian and James students at the University of Alabama. Governor Wallace's stand, as infamous as it was, had no initial nor lasting effects. Because of the ruling of Judge Grooms, James and Vivian were enrolled into the University of Alabama on June 8, 1963. The scheduled stand was for June 11, 1963, which was the date for registering for classes. In the end, Governor Wallace barred nothing, and the official integration of the university proceeded as intended. A major changing point in history was created at the site of this very plaque. Though one victory was earned by Vivian and James at Foster Auditorium on June 11, 1963, that was only the first of many battles to be faced by the two first students of color at the University of Alabama.
As Governor and Chief Magistrate of the state of Alabama, I deem it to be my solemn obligation and duty to stand before you, representing the rights and sovereignty of this state and its people. The unwelcomed, unwanted, unwarranted, and force-induced intrusion upon the campus of the University of Alabama today of the might of the central government offers frightful example of the oppression of the rights, privileges, and sovereignty of this state by officers of the federal government. We shall continue to work for a better Alabama for all the people of this state, both white and Negro. And it is my prayer that God above shall bless all the people of this state, both white and black.
This, then, is the moment when Governor George Wallace of Alabama walked away from the schoolhouse door.
It would have been nice if the feelings of joy and accomplishment could have continued for Vivian and James, but as time went on, the harder their experience at Alabama became. James Hood spent most of his time on campus in his dorm, Palmer Hall, and in Patey Dining Hall. He did not have much social interaction on campus with other students. His main source came from the federal marshal that was appointed to maintain his safety on what became an extremely hostile campus. After stating that he and Vivian would not give another press conference while in attendance at the university, James Hood did write an editorial for the Crimson White on June 27th, explaining his experience as the first black male student at the University of Alabama. He also spoke at a rally in his hometown of Gadsden, Alabama, later that summer. What came next was a series of words and events being taken out of context, and a young James Hood was right in the crosshairs of it all, amongst a slew of accusations from the outside community and from the university itself.
like to say that I'm glad that the registration is over and everything is over now. I think we can get down to studying. This is our main purpose here, and I'm glad that it has all been over now, and all we have to do now is get down, go get our books, and start studying. That's all.
Well, I'd like to say that at this time, this is our first and final press conference. And we'd like to say that we are very happy to note that our registration has taken place without incident. And we hope that we will be able to get on to our main purpose for being here, and that is to get an education. And this is our final statement.
November 22nd, when President Kennedy was killed, the same year, I said if they could kill him, then I would sit and target. They sent me a black cat in the parcel post, a dead black cat, and the marshals opened it and saw what it was, and they tried to find out where it came from, but they couldn't. I didn't realize the meaning of it until about 6 or 7 months later. It was a sign that of the Klan activity, and it was a demonstration of what they would do to me and anybody that stood in their way. Almost really during the presidential campaign, the first presidential campaign, I was in St. Louis when he gave a speech in the same auditorium that I went to a basketball game, and they told me he was there, so I avoided getting caught with the press so they could photograph me with him. I said, no, I don't want to do that, because I felt it would not help me at all, so I avoided it. And when I met with him in the 1996, I said, he said he was sorry, and I said, I had already forgiven a long time ago. He was just doing what he had to do, and I understood that. I didn't think it was against me, it was just against my way of life. The worst thing in the world is to hate, and that hate can destroy you, and I didn't want that to happen, so I didn't have anybody. I asked to meet with him, and he said, okay, so I went down to see him just before graduation. As a matter of fact, I was going to his house, and he decided to go to his office, that we gonna meet in the office. And when I got there, all these reporters were there. I said, oh, I didn't plan it that way, but he did, so he was ready to see anyway. It made me realize that I was right all the time. Time for having was given before that.
In the end, James was required to go before the Board of Trustees at the university before being allowed to register for the next semester. As of September 30th, 1963, which was the last day to register for classes, James Hood had not. He cited mental and physical fatigue as his reason for leaving, just as Autherine Lucy, the first black student, had in 1956. James Hood would return to the University of Alabama in 1995 to receive his doctorate in interdisciplinary studies on May 17, 1997.